This week we are making pop-up thank you cards.
And custom paper airplanes.
So, me and Samo got to go fly in a plane.
Grandpa Pokey's friend took us up in a Cessna.
That was our first time in that kind of plane.
And only our third time in a plane ever. Here we are at the airport.
Grandpa's friend was explaining how the plane works.
When he moved the flap on the wing, the steering wheel thingy
Yoke.
moved.
Yep.
Like, boop, boop. Here we go! It was me, Ty, and Daddy. Let's give it a shot. So, in the plane, we're going really fast. Then we're going really up.
What'd you think?
It's really cool, and the cars were like the size of ants.
Yeah. What'd you think of takeoff?
It was cool.
I didn't realize how fast it would be taking off.
Yeah.
Like, we start moving and I look out the window and we're already...
In the air?
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't even notice and you're already in the air. Seems like it should be more of a momentous occasion and you're just basically 1 second you're not and then you are. Yeah. So you guys took a little flight. You went out to Brackett Field. This is Brackett. You landed in Brackett and turned around and then took off again and came back home.
There's birds on the sign.
Yeah. Eagle bones, falcon hawk. I don't actually know what kind of birds they are.
It's cool.
So you got to take off and land twice for your little tiny trip. You got to see a lot of sights. You got to fly over the foothills and fly over the lake and fly over some city and the rock quarry.
It was fun and we're grateful.
Yeah, you guys were really lucky that Grandpa's friend took you flying. So we're making pop-up thank you cards. This is what turned into the cover of Sam's card. This is a proof of concept. So it's going to be a window with a spinning drawing.
So this is my card. I'm trying to make it look like galaxy.
So you did the
space
spinny part and you wanted half of it to be night and half of it to be day.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got the plane in the day part and then you drew the night part. And you did stars and a moon with some Posca pens. I think it turned out so cute.
Mm-hmm. And I drew the plane.
And then you colored in the airport there. That's the airport. We used a brad so that it would turn. That's me assembling it. And then we glued it onto another piece of paper. You've got to make sure that you've got enough room around the spinny part so that it'll actually turn and it doesn't get hung up. Here's the proof of concept for the inside of Sam's card. So this is just cutting a couple of slots and making these kind of steps. I've seen stacks of birthday cake or stacks of presents. It's a real versatile style.
We're putting us in there. I'm drawing me, Daddy, Ty, and the pilot.
You're going to do the inside of the plane on those little step things so that all of the people pop up and it's three-dimensional.
So the outside of the card is like the outside of the plane, and the inside of the card is like the inside of the plane.
I didn't go with you guys because there's not enough room on the plane for me, so I stayed home. No, it's fine. I'm so glad you guys got to go up. I've been up in a Cessna before when I was much, much younger, and I got very, very motion sick, so I was the logical person to stay behind.
Then I colored the back of the plane in the sky.
So this is folding the little steppy things. And of course the steps could be rearranged to be any number of things, but this is very popped up. It works super well and it's very easy to achieve these little pop-up steps.
And then we glued on the people in the front of the plane thing. And then here we go.
Here's a proof of concept for Tyler's. It's a spring glued on either side of the card. So when you open it up, the spring pops up and you can stick things on it. So I've seen it where people put butterflies on there. I did hearts for the proof of concept. What are you putting on there?
I'm putting a plane.
Makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So right now I'm drawing me and Samo.
That was hanging outside the plane. You did sort of the two locations. So Cable Airport and then Bracket Airport.
Yeah.
Because you guys took off from Cable Airport.
So I wanted to make sure that I got the words on the sign right and like spaced them properly. But other than that, it wasn't very difficult.
Your hair is the exact same color as the sign. And then you were doodling some airplanes, trying to decide what you wanted the airplane to look like on the inside. And you ended up drawing it in Procreate.
I like how it turned out. It looks more like an airplane than my pencil sketches.
Yeah, you did a great job. And then you cut out a spiral. Turned out it was too skinny of a spiral. Had to cut out another one. But this was the first spiral. It's pretty, but it wasn't quite buff enough. Lesson learned.
And here it is finished. I think it turned out pretty good. I like the way that we made it pop up. I haven't seen that much ever.
The spiral,
Yeah.
you see a lot of the steppy things, but the spiral was unique. So I made a little card. This is the proof of concept. I wanted something where it had a little window and something in the window that you could wind up and it would spin. So I decided to put Terry the tortoise in the sky. So I printed him on some really thick paper and I had him mirror imaged so that I could layer him up. I put a box around him so I could line him up really easily. I glued one end and cut around his profile so that then I could glue the strings in. I ended up using 2 strings so that it would twist up better against each other. I think in the footage there's only 1 string, but I added another string in there and let the glue dry and then taped him into the card. You have to have a really stiff card, I discovered, because if you twist it up without having stiffness on the card, then it just scrunches the card in. It doesn't get taut, it just crushes the card. So I ended up gluing a popsicle stick in between, but it worked really well. And he's a cutie. And of course, if we're gonna do airplanes, we gotta do some paper airplanes. So I folded a couple of versions of paper airplanes to see which ones flew the best and had kind of the funnest surfaces to draw on. This method is the world record method of folding a paper airplane, and it works really well. So I decided to do this one. So once I had it folded, I drew lines along the edges of every piece and labeled everything so that I could create a template. And then we printed out the template, and I did one that was just printed the colors with Terry the tortoise on it, but then also we printed some and we had you guys and your cousins were coloring them. And since there's the template, you can color specific areas. So get the tops of the wings, really intricate detail if you wanted. You can color them once they're folded, but it's easier to color them before they're folded. So this is Sam and her cousin coloring away on the template. The template is 2-sided, and then you have to fold it from the proper side with it the right way up, and you end up with a colored plane. And I think they're adorable.